Welcome back to the Daily 3, episode 25 with Mike and David in the morning.
Mike and David in the morning.
We're live.
We are live on the Daily 3 where what do we do here on the Daily 3?
I have literally no idea.
All right. It's all right, man. 25 days in and we're still figuring it out.
Changing the world, 25 days at a time. We're going to talk in a smooth jazz radio voice the rest of the time today. I hope you enjoy this. Pleasant sound to your ears. Anyways. Daily 3.
Daily 3. What were your Daily 3 from yesterday and how did they go?
I don't think I did any of them.
Nice, man. Way to fail it up.
I did not clean my room. I did not dust or vacuum or clean the bathroom.
That's
and
true.
I did not work on my website at all.
All right.
So
What did you do? What did you do instead?
what I did instead was figure out how to download a big map that I can print out and put on my wall.
Yeah, you were showing me this morning a little bit ago.
Yes.
It looks pretty cool.
So it took it was much harder and longer than I thought it was going to take.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking about actually writing up a documentation because I was like, man, if I had this much trouble, I'm sure other people
Are just
yeah.
losing their minds over trying to figure that out.
But it feels good now. Once I got it actually working,
Mm-hmm.
I raised both of my fists in the air in triumph.
Yeah.
Even now I can literally print a map like any size, literally.
75 feet by 80 feet.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do a map.
Wow.
75 feet by 80 feet.
Holy map.
Holy map. Holy map. I don't know what that is. Anyways, so that's what I did.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not planning anything, don't worry. Just, think of the possibilities.
Making maps.
Making maps.
Maps are kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah. My daily 3 for yesterday was 1, to plan a video for how to hang and cut drywall and to film. I did not do that. The other one was to batch edit.
Mm-hmm.
I did do that.
Oh, wow.
And then...
Good job.
Thanks, man. Then the third was to plan video for spray texturing and mudding and taping for sheetrock and stuff. And didn't do that either. So...
Did you... I felt this yesterday. I'm wondering if you did. Did you feel like you lost a lot of your day? Or I don't know if you woke up early or not yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I did not wake up early. I woke up like 2.5 hours after I usually do, so I slept in.
Yeah.
And my whole day, like 5:30 when we left to go, I felt like that came in no time.
Like all of a sudden it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, where did the day go?
5:30 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still got up early yesterday because I knew, okay, I have things I want to do. And that's where I started doing most of my batch editing.
Oh, nice.
So that was good because I got a good chunk of that done before anyone was up. And then we did the daily 3. And then I was doing a little more editing. And then basically I just kind of threw out the rest of the day. Yeah, my wife and I, we worked on budgeting and finance stuff. And then we just kind of like spent some time catching up and then took a nap for, I don't know, like 2 hours maybe. We were just out. It was super funny actually. So we, some friends from church invited us over to, like everyone who lives in this house, over to their place for dinner. And so our other roommates, Josh and Heaven, didn't think anyone was home. Because like you were probably in your room figuring out the map stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I were just like taking a nap in bed.
Conked out
cold. It was a nice cool day yesterday too. So we had the windows open and just the fresh air. And it was raining a little bit too.
Yeah.
So you just like the sound of the rain on the roof. It was just like perfect storm for just a killer nap. And I heard when Josh got home and turned on the game, and then all of a sudden like they left. And they left to go over there early because they thought we had already left.
They thought we were all gone. Like
yeah.
they thought they were super late.
Yeah. So then we got there at like 5:30 and they were already there and they're like, yeah, we've been here since like 2 or 3. I was like, what? So it's just funny. But
3 hours early.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess we were supposed to come anytime after 2.
yeah, I didn't know that. I thought
We did
5:30.
not. Yeah, we did not.
No idea.
Yep.
Missed the memo on that one.
Missed the memo. So, what are your daily 3 for today? Are you gonna rest? Are you gonna work?
Yeah, I'm gonna rest, but I still have 3, so I still have like a
Intentional rest.
light daily 3. Yeah. Which I think I kind of did yesterday, halfway through the day.
Welcome to the light edition of the Daily 3, where Mike brings us into his restful day.
So yeah, part of resting was obviously going over, hanging out with our friends last night, just kind of like doing nothing but talking and enjoying friendship and playing games. And
Your daily
food.
3 for today goes back to yesterday?
Yeah, chatting about like where I started resting. Right.
Gotcha,
So this started yesterday with, I'm not going to finish my daily 3 from yesterday. And it's like, okay, we are entering into rest mode for the weekend. So that was doing that yesterday and then the nap. So, and then today, my daily 3 are more like small tasks than big bucket projects that I'm going to be working on. So one is to make some transfers for banking stuff, figure that out, kind of following up on that, and then go grocery shopping, and then possibly go to my cousin's grad party today.
Oh, and what are you going to do that's restful today?
Go to church with Brooke.
All right.
And probably go to the grad party.
The grad party that will be restful.
I'm hoping. I don't actually know yet.
What could you do to make it restful?
I'm not sure. But it's like
so it's just hope on the wind.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, okay, I could see this going either way. You know, because sometimes it's like, sometimes going to stuff like that is like really fun because you're like, oh, I got to like see some people or like extended family that I haven't seen for a while and just kind of catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Other times you're just like, I'm tired. It's in the afternoon. I want to sleep. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but I think it will be restful to just see some extended family, but I'm not actually sure. I have no idea.
So what is a way that you can take full ownership of your rest in this situation rather than leaving it up to circumstance?
Maybe having appropriate expectations.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not the one going to the grad party.
I don't either. I'm doing it live. I'm just
doing it live. I love it.
Brainstorming right now.
I mean, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because you're just like
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
You're just leaving it out of. You're just saying, no, it's none of my control.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect.
But you said it's restful when you're able to catch up with family members.
Sometimes it's restful. Sometimes it's stressful. I don't know what the difference is.
Really? Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
So I think it's going to be a learning.
Maybe you could go on a sleuthing mission.
What is that?
Like a sleuth, like a detective, or Sherlock Holmes is a sleuth.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah, because I think, and that's where I was thinking like appropriate expectations of like the episode where we were talking about our plans for Mother's Day, right? We talked about, because that was a weekend, and so we were talking about rest a little bit. And sometimes it's like, one of the things I remember talking about was like not allowing other people's, like resting apart from whether other people choose to or not.
Yes, I remember that. You being on the deck.
Yeah.
And enjoying the grass.
Yeah. Sitting on the front porch and just everyone else is like, nah, I'm doing all this other shit. And I'm like, cool, I'm just going to chill. And so I think that's maybe what I mean by like figuring out what are those expectations. Because sometimes it's like, oh, like I really haven't talked to my aunt for a while, so it'd be great to see her and catch up with her. But then the other thing is also knowing like,
well, that's one thing you can do.
It might be really busy for her, so I might get like 2 minutes to talk to her and that's it. You know what I mean? So just like not having this expectation of I'm going to just have a really good, refreshing conversation with her when that might not actually be the reality. You know what I mean? So trying to, because I could see like going there with that expectation and then sort of having that expectation being unmet and being like, yeah, this wasn't really what I was hoping it would be. Or whatever, right? That's like just
Right,
one
right.
example I can think of. But
Okay.
yeah, so trying to not hold too tightly to whatever or different things.
I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if you can figure out how you can be intentionally restful. It's hard.
Yeah. And right now, I think, to be honest with you, I just don't want to.
You don't want to go.
I don't want to rest at all.
Oh, why?
Because I got stuff to do.
I got stuff to do.
I got things to do. I think part of it is because I know
Nobody got time for that.
in the end of June, we're going on a week-long vacation.
Hey, I
or it
think
might
I am
be
too.
A little bit more than a week. And so part of that is just like, well, if I actually want to vacation when I get there, there are things that I need to get taken care of before that point. So part of that is, I think, the sense of like, I am willing to miss out on the rest from like the month or month and a half before, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening. And in order for me to actually be on vacation when I'm on vacation, I need to get that stuff taken care of. And so part of it is that. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's this like, I'm looking forward to this, so I'm okay pushing a lot of that off until I get to that point. But I don't know if that's necessarily good or smart or wise or healthy or any of those things. But that, I think, right. Yeah. To be honest, it's just I have an apathy towards rest. I'm just like, I don't care to do it. Which was like yesterday, chatting with my wife about this, I was just like, okay, we should hang out. And I think what it looks like right now to lay down my preference for and my plans and expectations for how what I already decided, here's what I'm going to get done.
Yeah.
Was to say, okay, I'm not going to do those things
Oh,
until
wow.
Monday. So that was a
That
hard
must have been
decision.
hard.
And I still don't really care to do that. I'm like, there's part of me right now that really is like, I know I'm going to pay for this later because the pressure of other things is coming and I need to get these things done. So it's like this weird, but it's like, do I really need to get
That's
this
a
done?
great question.
You know, it's like, I don't think I do.
Who's
like
the
probably don't, you know, but it's just these.
Where's the pressure coming from?
Yeah. Self expectations.
Why do you have those?
I like pressure. I like responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, like what will getting all that do accomplish for you? What will that do for Michael Cruswick?
Yeah. To just be done with stuff, to follow through on things.
What would it do from like your like personality perspective?
I don't know.
What about your ego?
What does that mean?
There's just another way to say just you.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't. In my mind, it's a paradigm of like, there are responsibilities I have that I need to be faithful to follow through on. And
well,
so
good.
I think part of the reason why this is so hard, and I know that part of the reason that this is so hard is because I feel like I am being like unfaithful.
Interesting. Okay.
And so, or unloyal
I
to
get
the
that.
like commitments I made. And that stresses me out. I don't like to feel that.
Yeah.
I don't like to feel that.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's a big driving motivation for a lot of these things.
Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah. And I don't know if all of that, like that might sound kind of good. Like, oh, I just want to be responsible. Right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that is a pure motive or a good motive.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or something to just let go unchecked, you know? So
it's like, why is that motive there? Is that motive there because it's out of love for Christ and how he's worked in you? Or is it out of, because then you'll be seen as a really hard worker?
Right.
Or is it just, I don't know, so you can get onto other projects? I mean, there's so many different motives that are probably all joined together in that. Oh, the joys of, but, you know?
And there's probably some impatience too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be one of the reasons why we've talked about this a few, probably every episode at this point of, I have significantly underestimated the time that it takes to actually do something. Right. So it's like, part of that might be just a naive optimism about,
oh, sure.
I think like, because I can think about the process, I think, oh, this will be easy because I can understand it, but like actually executing on it is more difficult. But it might actually come from a, like like an impatience. I was just like, I don't have the patience to actually, like, I just want things to happen quick. And then when they don't, it doesn't meet my expectations.
I was thinking of, I don't know what this verse is, Galatians 5 maybe, or it's in the good book of Galatians, where Paul says, I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, so the life that Mike Creswick now lives in the flesh, achieving, trying to do things, trying to get things done on time, being faithful.
Yeah.
The life he now lives in the flesh, he lives by faith in the Son of God who loved him and gave himself up for him. I just think like I think that is why we live by faith and not by like our flesh. Because I don't know, I think like when we live by our flesh, we will get lost and drown in the sea of all of our motivations.
Yeah.
And then either one, never do anything, or two, do way too much
Do all the things.
And do all the things, or three, try to find the elusive balance that everyone always thinks is like the answer, and get lost tiring ourselves out trying to find that balance, perfect balance. Like that's all I think living by the flesh, rather than like living by faith means, nope, I'm living like the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith. So it's like, yep, that's this life I am living that is this sea of all these messed up expectations and all these messed up motivations. Like we acknowledge that it's there. We confess it when we find it. But we don't, it's like, it's not the anchor that holds us in the storm. And it's not like the power that like pushes us through these waves. That is our faith in Christ, because Christ has gone before us.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, whatever all those messed up motivations and expectations are,
right.
We don't live by those. You live by faith.
Yeah. And it's hard.
It's super hard.
Like if you are someone who is very ambitious, it is hard to figure out what does Christian ambition look like, right? What is a ambitious life, but one that's submitted to the Lordship of Jesus look like? Because I just think like, man, like some people are like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I'm like, I couldn't, like if I had 90 lives, I couldn't figure out like I have more than I want to do in that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, there's so many things I want to do. So it's just this,
absolutely.
Like, what do I,
oh my gosh.
It's not a difficulty for me of being like, oh, I'm not sure. It's like, I have too much actually that I can.
And I think one of the reasons it's hard for people who have a drive to like get things done or to be successful or just to like be creative and accomplish things is because it's hard to live by faith in that sense, because in the same way that when we're tempted by more like physical desires, let's say, I don't know, I'm in a conversation and we're talking about someone behind their back and I'm tempted to join in. And it's like, oh, and the payoff, that immediate payoff of being accepted by the people, joining in the laughter.
Yeah.
The immediate payoff if I'm like, I don't know, like feeling down and the way to satisfy that is by like, oh, I'm going to go to Taco Bell. I'm not hungry, but like I'm going to eat something. And like that meat, like, so like in the same way that we have like immediately physical like payoff that later we realize, oh, that did not satisfy me. I think the ambitious person in their productive like pursuit of just getting things done and accomplishing crap, like trusting in our flesh gives us like an immediate payoff of control, and it gives us an immediate payoff of satisfaction that we're doing something, rather than entrusting it to the Lord and saying like, I'm going to do this and I don't know if it's going to make a difference or.
Yeah. That's why it was so good to take a nap yesterday.
That's why Sabbath is so important, because it's a saying.
Just like this afternoon.
I
don't need to work. I'm ceasing from work. But then part of me too is also just like considering, did my work just get hard and napping wasn't actually restful, it actually became escapism.
Hmm.
Because usually a restful nap for me is 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Well, even so, though. That's right.
It's like,
even that. Can you just live by faith and taking a nap?
yeah, write it down, make it happen, take a nap. You know what I mean? It's like like when we say that, like, right, the take a nap is a way of saying, here you go. Like I trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
May the Lord do whatever seems good to him.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Like,
yes.
We wrote it down. We made it happen.
Maybe.
The rest is trusting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like not experiencing this anxiety that keeps us working, and anxiety driven work. But that just says,
yes,
I did
or
what I did.
Flesh driven work.
And
That's,
I'm gonna like let it go, kind of.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And that's what, yes, I think that's what people get confused by. And I know this has been like a long learning process for me in the Christian life, of that, like the Christian life, and people who don't understand, this is going to be bold, people who don't understand, I think, the distinction between law and gospel, or the gospel, they get confused by the difficulties and the wrong motivations and the wrong expectations that we constantly find within ourselves, because they think that somehow the gospel magically like makes them a better person, when in reality the gospel saves a dead person, a sinner, and makes them alive. And then there's like a process that continues that isn't ever finished until they're actually dead and then raised to life again.
Right.
So it's like so it's like, like a Christian isn't somebody who has the right motivations and the right love and the right expectations and always has peace and always, no, a Christian is a sinner who has been united to someone who accomplished salvation for them, which is Christ.
Right.
They are no different than an unbeliever in the fact that they are both should be justly condemned. Like they both have just all these horrible motives, horrible expectations.
Right.
And it's like, yeah. And over time, those motivations, the way we think, the way we act, that will be renewed. We're being renewed day by day from one degree of glory to the next, Paul says. But there's that part of us that we live in the flesh, as Paul says. The life we now live in the flesh, we live, and that's why we live by faith. Because it's like a faith of the future of what is to come and what has already been done in the past and what God is doing in us now.
Right. And we trust.
Yeah.
We trust that God will bring that work.
And we believe that the work he started in us, he will bring to completion.
Yeah.
We believe that the death and resurrection of Jesus, the God-man, that he is the Son of God, that he has come with power, that he was raised with power, and that he did give us his Holy Spirit. Like, we believe all these things, and we believe God's promise in that you are working in me, that you are renewing me, despite the fact that I live contrary, and evidence of that, not all the time, but a lot of my life is
certainly because
I live in the flesh.
Yeah.
I live in this sinful body. That's why Paul says in Romans 7, it's like, who will deliver me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So I think a lot of people have, it's a struggle when people hear like a life of faith, they think, it's a life of like great, perfect expectations, amazing motivations, always pure.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, a life of faith is one where you continue to, most of the time, live as a sinner, just very much as a sinner, but you're trusting in someone else. You're not trusting in your actions. You're trusting in the finished work of Jesus.
Right.
And that paradigm is so hard. And living in that tension, I think is one of the things that changes us. Right. And is one of the ways that God uses to refine our faith, because it's constantly one of repentance. It's constantly one of being like, dang it, my motivations weren't pure. Right. I hated that person. I didn't want to be around any of you people.
Right.
And then it's like, God, save me from my anger, from my hatred, from my bitterness. I am a sinner. Have mercy on me, Lord.
Right.
And that never goes away until one day we actually get to be with him and he renews us. And so it's like, how do we rest in faith by faith? man, imperfectly
Mm-hmm.
in a perfect Son of God,
Right.
the Son of God. I'm no, let's be clear here. There's one.
For clarity's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought about all that, but
No, that's good. Welcome to the Christian life.
yeah,
Welcome to following Jesus.
it's good.
You know, and I think,
In this world, you will have trouble. Take heart.
right.
Jesus has overcome the world.
And I think we can get discouraged by that and give up, or we can use that to encourage one another. Right? Like part of the beauty of this now is like we are free to struggle with this. And this is why I think it's worth thinking through and figuring out like what this looks like in our work. Because it's like, all right, I've got the next 60, 70 years to do exactly this. So I might as well start now.
And you have space to be honest and to be honest with that you aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And you do struggle and that you do oftentimes have horrible desires and horrible motives.
Right. To just say, yeah, I
don't pretend.
I don't want to rest right now.
No.
At all. I just want to be like, screw it. Like I sort of just feel like this restful weekend or the things I've put in front of me to like rest, I'm just like impatiently putting up with and enduring until I can get to Monday morning where I can actually start doing the stuff I want to do.
Oh my gosh.
That is exactly how I feel.
I know. I get that. There's like a selfishness in there, a bitterness, a grumbling against like the Lord and what he's given you. And you're like,
yeah, people are like, oh man, I hate Monday. I'm like, I love Monday. I just hate, it's just like, screw you Sunday. I can't wait till Monday comes so I can actually do something, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's, but that's where I'm at right now.
But we have grace to live in that freedom, to confess that, to know that we are forgiven.
Certainly.
Because of Christ and what he's done.
Yeah.
And then to like ask him for help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's.
And I also think too about what part of this is for me not doing my weekly review or not having done it yet. And part of, I think, what is built into the weekly review, or at least how we do it, is like what is it like? What's that question? Like, what were your top 5 wins this week? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just thinking through that, like I usually forget,
like, how has the Lord provided for you?
About like I forget how much I've actually gotten done in the course of a week. So then by the time I get to the weekend, I still feel this compulsion that I have to keep working, rather than essentially doing what we talked about just either yesterday or the day before, of like what you did when you finished your website, of just like stepping back, ceasing from work, and declaring it is good. Like there's something about that I think is helpful in that it allows us to rest because it allows us to reflect on the work that has been done.
Yes.
And I think about like, oh yeah, like for me, that question in the weekly review is somewhat like that. It's this moment to step back from the work week and just say, here's what I've done. It is good. And to just be content, right? It's like a practice in contentment.
Mm-hmm. And it's turning back to the Lord and acknowledging all the work that he's done through you ultimately. Because as Paul would say, like, I struggled more than the rest of these, but not I, but the grace of God that was within me. He's like, he could have been like, I planted this church and this church, but not I. Right. It's like all this work that Paul struggled to accomplish, he would credit to the Lord. Yeah. Because he was doing it for the Lord and the Lord was working through him. And I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy. I mean, if we forget if we forget that quickly what we accomplish, how much more likely do we forget like what someone else has accomplished or what God has accomplished? I don't know, but I think that weekly reviews. I keep on thinking the verse that keeps on coming to my mind is one like example is when like Peter and Jesus Jesus is walking on water in the waves. He calls Peter out. Peter like goes to him and then he like looks at the wind and the waves and he becomes afraid and then starts to sink. And then he cries out, Lord, save me. And it says, and immediately Jesus reached out his hand and grabbed him. And it's like, and then I think of like Hebrews 12, 1 through 2, where it says like, brothers and sisters in like view of you have a cloud of witnesses, so throw aside everything that so easily entangles you, fixing your eyes on Jesus, the author and pioneer or the perfecter of your faith, like the pioneer, the one who has gone before. Yeah. It's like so much of this life is being just keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus and not on your flesh, because that will discourage you.
Yeah.
Big time.
Certainly.
And other people will discourage you.
Yeah.
But Jesus, he won't. Oh, got some dogs outside. Do you hear that?
Oh, I hear it. I wonder if it. Anyway, what are your daily 3 for today?
Dude, I'm in the same place you are, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, today should be a rest day, but not.
Yeah, because I didn't do anything yesterday. And
Yeah.
I mean, I did something yesterday. I'm going to probably hang up those things. I'm going to go buy some painter's tape and
Nice.
hang those up in my room. Hang a big map that I made.
Big map.
And then probably label where different churches are around me. And I do still I need to fold laundry, clean my room. Probably those things.
Yeah. Do you feel like the process of like making that map and figuring that, was that like a creative project for you? That was like restful in a sense, or that was like rejuvenating?
No,
Playful?
not at all.
Oh.
Except for like the last 2 minutes when I finally got it working. I was just like, it was more like just like a labored type of
just slogging through it.
Yeah, because part of me, like, I've been wanting to do this for a while for Grace Lead, just to try to, after listening to Brian Howard when he came and did that talk about just strategic like mission and things like that, and that's one of the things he mentioned. And he's thinking like when he was telling church planters, like, create a map of however much around you, and he's like, and just make it so that in that area everyone knows about your church, and like in a good way, or if you listen to yesterday, in a way that's like remarkable, that they would be worthy of a remark about.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking through just like, how do I go about that with Grace Lead, and starting small, and and I think part of it is kind of doing the concentric circles within like my social circles of people I know. That's one of the ways. And the other way I think I'm going to try that is physical location too.
Yeah.
Just start small and see what happens of it. Give it to the Lord. And
yeah, it reminds me of a couple times hearing Steve Treichler talk about, I think Rob Warland has talked about this too. But like the idea of success in terms of like blessing the city isn't necessarily that everyone would come to believe exactly what we believe, but that they would miss us if we weren't here. You know, of just like that someone would look at the church or the ministry and say, man, I don't believe anything they do, but I'm sure glad they're here. And if we weren't, they'd go, oh, it's a bummer that they're not around anymore. I was just like, to have that presence where they at least know, and in some way or another, they're at least blessed by our presence.
I think in some way or another, that's how, and where Jesus says, and people will see your good works and glorify God in heaven because of you. I think that's the idea. There's an idea of like blessing the city in that way, that even unbelievers could be so blessed by the impact of a church that they're saying like, oh man, but I missed them. Yeah. That's like giving glory to God, because it's like, oh yeah, his people. Yeah. what they did.
For sure.
So, daily 3, I don't know. I think I should take some time. It will be actually relaxing just to like clean up my room. If I can make that relaxing, put on some music, and then
just kind of go through it.
Yeah. It's good to have order, and I don't know, to be clean.
I kind of want to clean my desk. I feel like that would be a relaxing thing to do today. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to organize everything, put everything in its place. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I've started working on today is sort of like a creative project is coming up with I wonder if this could be done. Create a lawn care company. Is
that because you just saw my map?
No, I was thinking about this before. Okay. I've been literally working on this all morning.
I can give you a copy of my map if you'd like.
Has been figuring out, would it be possible to create a lawn care company entirely powered by solar panels? So everything from the mowers, trimmers, everything.
The people
too. Yeah, man. So I was like looking up a bunch of different like electric lawn mowers, commercial grade ones, and like figuring out all of that stuff, and then trying to figure out like, okay, like electric vehicle, do I build one or buy one? How much can I tow with it? What's the range? How far could I go? All that type of stuff. And then even just wondering, I wonder if there would even be a market for that. But it's just kind of fun because there's so many like constraints, rather than just like, oh, I'm going to go out and do all these things. It's like there's all of these limitations if that becomes your business model. And part of that was thinking about what we've talked about a few times is just like multiple bottom lines.
Yeah.
Considering like problem and planet and thinking through that. And also product too, of like, is offering a different, similar service, but a different service in a sense, a different product in the manner that it's done. And so, yeah, just thinking through what
That's
impact
cool.
would it have in those areas.
That'd be a cool business, man.
It's been just kind of fun to think about it. Like,
It must.
man.
It sounds fun.
So I've been like looking up how much does this trailer weigh and how much equipment could I put in it and still tow with an electric vehicle, and what if I put solar panels on the roof to increase like charge time and like all this stuff. So
Oh
it's
man,
been kind of fun to think about a little bit.
that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Have your battery packs.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if I bring charged, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's been kind of just a fun little, I don't know, random thought,
All right.
creative experiment this morning. That's been fun to just kind of.
Well, stay tuned for Mike's I don't know what it's going to be called.
Or go back to episode 10 on drone lawnmowers. And
Yep.
maybe we'll just end up doing that instead.
Well, we could do those with solar panels too.
We could.
Something about sun grass cutting or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway, so that's been kind of a restful, creative thing to just think about this morning.
sun power green.
Yeah. Sun powered lawns.
Yeah. They're all sun powered.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have a daily 3, I guess, for today.
Nice.
I don't.
Do you have a plan for rest optimization?
Nope. Which is so stupid. It just, and this stupid deception is what I hate. Because like part of me does not realize that I will be doing, I'm going to do something today.
Yeah.
Going to do something. I can't get away from that.
That's true.
Like
You're going to do something.
This feeling of freedom right now, like, oh, my day's free, that does not guarantee that feeling at the end of the day, because then I'll look back and be like, how the heck why did I spend my day like this? And it's like, but I get deceived by that all the time.
Totally.
Thinking like, oh, if I plan, then I'm just stuck to this thing.
Right.
And I think that's part of the fear or that's part of the resistance that I feel of like trying to create a plan. Cause then I'm just like,
Yeah.
because I don't want to commit to it. And I don't know, because I don't know why I want to commit to it. I just don't. I don't know if it's like a feeling of control or despite the fact that I'm the one that's deciding what I'm committing to.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way.
That's interesting. I think I'm almost the opposite in that I feel in control when I have a plan, because I have said to my day, you're here to serve me rather than like, I'm going to serve you in a sense of just like, that sense of control that says I've intentionally decided here's what I will be doing. So rather than like feeling victim to things that come up or like, oh, bummer, this happened. Like, I don't know. I just feel a lot more.
Maybe I need to just try to reframe my perspective.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, yeah, for some reason, when I feel like I say something and put it out there,
Yeah.
then somehow like that binds me. I don't know if it's because it's like my word. Maybe I just have to like say, I might do this, or these might be my daily 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that.
I think about that like even yesterday, because I threw a switch up halfway through the day yesterday and completely scrapped the plan. But I didn't feel any guilt or any like, oh crap, I didn't stick to it yesterday.
See, I felt guilt yesterday that I didn't do my 3 things that I said I was going to do.
Really?
I think that's like, I think something that I'm trying to get away from.
Yeah.
Or like escape from that feeling of guilt for, apart from the law, there is no sin. That I think it's that an echo of that thing where it's like, if I didn't say I was going to do anything, well, then I can't be held accountable for not doing anything or for what I did do.
Sure.
And I won't be like, oh, you should have done that.
Yeah.
But
I think
an asinine way to think about things.
Yeah. I think what you said is a great point of I'm going to spend my day somehow.
Yeah.
I get deceived by that a lot too.
Everything not found in
just
nature
like-
is designed.
Yeah.
Chip Kidd, I think, said that. But yeah, so I need to think through, how do I want, at the end of the day, that's one thing from Donald Miller's. I like how he says, like, at the end of the day, what do you wish you would have accomplished?
Yeah.
And that's super helpful for me, even though it's a weird time trippy thing.
Yeah. But
Like,
sometimes it just like reframes that perspective in a way that,
when I come to the end of the day, what will I wish I would have done? Okay, let's do those things.
yeah.
I think part of that's just hard for people who don't know themselves very well. Like, I don't think I know myself very well.
And you're starting with the end in mind kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then designing your day to get you to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, folks,
All right.
thanks for listening in to another episode of Cool Jazz 96.
Cool Jazz 96 in the morning.
You're at the Daily 3 Cool Jazz with Michael and David.
Write it down
Make it happen.
and take a nap.
Thanks, folks.
Dear refuge of my weary soul, on thee when sorrows rise, on thee when waves of trouble roll, my fainting hope relies.
It could have gone way worse. Pretty loud. Radio voice.
What are they parking for? 25. I just want them to like play together, and then what will happen? Will they murder one another?
Yeah. Theo will.
I just thought of like what would be the worst thing of sharing a sleeping bag with anyone.
Cheese farts.
Cheese farts.
Oh no. What does that even mean? Welcome to episode 25 of the Daily P.